you, time you, that hold you, time you, that hold you, time you, that hold you.
Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about I'm doing a debut for my book Demented. I'm trying to go through each of my books and giving a debut sample of the first chapter. And just what I did want to do originally, but I didn't do it with I think my first one, Navatra, is I'd like to talk a little bit about behind the scenes with the book. Me personally, I'm always interested in um, what happened behind the scenes with the author when they're creating a book, coming up with their book, and I'm always interested in in the author just as much as the story. So sorry, I wanted to give this opportunity for anybody who might be interested in any kind of background story, like how did I come up with this story, what was my inspiration, things like that. So I originally wrote Demented. Gosh, I think it was back in 2012. It could have been a little bit earlier, or a little, yeah, about 2012. Um, it actually, I had the first inspiration for the book was years prior, and the original first scene was a scene where, and this is what just came to me one day. Just it was just like a flash, but there was a man laying face down with his, arms spread out on a bed, on his bed, and the room was like a mess. It was dark, there was broken glass and blood everywhere, and he was like passed out. The cops come into his house, and they find him, passed out on his bed. They get him up, and he's like confused. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what's happening. He's just completely lost. And they arrest him because they're basically accusing him of murdering his wife. Now, his wife is somebody who he loves and adores, and they just had a little baby girl. He would never kill his wife, and he's just baffled as to why he's being accused for this. So that was actually the opening scene for Demented. But and I think I did Demented. I started it as one of the NaNoWriMo um, events. I'm not sure. I think I did, or it's either that or I was trying to write a lot of short stories, and this was one of them that came to me. So, um, as I got more into it, I felt like the reader didn't get the opportunity to really, really get to know the characters, and I don't know. I felt like it was too abrupt in certain ways. And at that time I would have I'd have some I had and this is why you probably should never listen to, not say never listen, but I had some reviews, and they're like, oh, she hops around, she goes from the past to the front to, from the past to the present, and da 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 da. And I was offended. I know I shouldn't be, but I was, because I felt like that's how a lot of stories are told. Like you have those flashback scenes. That's where flashback scenes come from. What's wrong with a flashback scene? But I think what was wrong is I wasn't applying it correctly. I wasn't doing it right. And so the reader would get lost because it was too abrupt, too sudden, and it just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And like, so they felt lost. So I completely understood, live and learn. So I decided, but at that time, this is me, a part of me learning. I had to go back and look and say, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? And say, well, maybe they want to know more about the characters before they jump into the deep end. So that's why I had backtracked. And the opening scene became the one with Simone and Caleb walking into the Las Vegas hotel. So um, in the first chapter, we we learn about Caleb and Simone that he doesn't really consider her his girlfriend, and no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with her. It's not like she has a nasty attitude. She actually, to me, has like an amazing attitude. It's nothing like that. It's just that they're just not compatible. He's just not feeling her. It's like nothing personal. There's no hate in it. It's absolutely nothing personal. He just, as beautiful as she just doesn't do it for him. And he's kind of just ho humming through life, just whatever. And then, they go to this vacation for his birthday, and he meets a girl. Soon as he walks into the hotel with Simone, he meets this girl, the checkout counter girl, named Megan, and he's just instantly caught up with her. But she ain't taking him on. She's not. She's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, like every other guy in Las Vegas. So she's not taking him on. So, um, the part that where it gets crazy is, despite all of that, despite him coming to Las Vegas with his girlfriend for his birthday, despite him seeing a girl and liking her instantly, um, despite all of this, and that girl not want anything to do with him, they end up married by morning. So that's what makes it fun. So it was a really fun read, and there's a lot that goes on in the book. There's a lot that happens, but I am just presenting to you the first chapter. So if you have any questions, if you want to know more, I recommend the audiobook that I am selling on my website at aprilathomas.com. The reason why I recommend the audiobook is because, you can still get the book, and read it. I feel like the audio experience is so nice. Like, it's nice to just kind of sit back. You can put that in and go clean or cook dinner, or relax, do whatever you want to do, and enjoy a good story, just a fun story. So that's why I always recommend audiobooks. And I do use AI, but it doesn't sound. I do my best to make them sound as natural as possible. It takes hours. It takes, actually, I shouldn't say hours. It takes weeks. It takes weeks for me to, sometimes up to a month to work on one book, depending on the length of the book. I'm still working on Endurance. That's why I have my shorter books are out there, but Endurance is not out there as yet because it's a lot more work. But it's worth it in the end. When it's done, it's so worth it, and it just sounds amazing. And I wish they had, you know I don't know. I wish more authors were doing that. I wish more authors were building their own platform. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. Enjoy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.
Chapter 1 Change, February 3rd, 2009. She is a temptress. Long dark hair. Of course, it had been a weave, but it still did the job. Simone Dash has the body of a supermodel and the sexual appetite of an addict. She is too much for him, but he did enjoy her company. Caleb Ross has just turned 30. He is a handsome 5'9" man with pale blue eyes, tanned skin, and neat dirty blonde dreads, all pulled back into a low ponytail. As a gift, his mother sent him on an all-expense-paid weekend getaway to Las Vegas, Nevada. The vacation also included a ticket for his girlfriend, Simone. They walked through the hotel lobby towards the front desk. After a long flight from South Florida, he was exhausted and just wanted to rest. He glanced over at his girlfriend, who seemed to be in another world. She had insisted on bringing her tabby cat, Mittens. It annoyed him to no end, especially since he was allergic to cats. However, His firm no didn't seem to have any effect on her. "Good evening, sir. Welcome to Las Vegas," a voice greets him from behind the check-in counter. Caleb had been somewhat stunned for a moment by her captivating beauty. She appeared as a natural goddess with long dark wavy hair, light brown eyes, smooth caramel skin, and a perfect smile. "Good evening," he smiled back flirtatiously. Simone had been too wrapped up in her surroundings that she had not noticed Caleb's instant attraction to the woman who greeted them. Her mind was elsewhere, lost on the dark conversation with his mother before they left for Las Vegas. "Welcome to the Bellagio. How may I help you?" the receptionist asks. "I have reservations." "It's under the name Caleb Ross," he answered, taking a step away from Simone. "Caleb Ross," she repeated more to herself as she searched the computer for his information. He enjoyed the sound of his name flowing from her alluring lips. Caleb had never before been so captivated by a woman he just met. He could barely think of the woman standing beside him. As beautiful as Simone is, he never felt this way about her. "Ah, yes, Caleb Ross. Lucky you. You have an amazing suite for you and the missus." She smiled as she nodded towards Simone. "Oh, we're not married," he remarked quickly. That was the last thing he wants anyone to think. If he could only dump Simone on the spot without looking like a complete jerk, he would. His remark caught Simone's attention. "Honey, don't be so shy. This is Las Vegas. You never know what could happen. I may be Mrs. Ross by the time we check out," she laughed, throwing an arm around Caleb to give him a hug, but he pushed her away, complaining of the cat. Embarrassed by his sudden rejection of her, she intentionally let go of the cat and blamed him as the cat scattered off, disappearing into a crowd of people. "Are you nuts? Go get your cat," he scolded. Simone gave him a dirty look before leaving in search of her cat. She also disappeared in the crowd as she continuously called out her cat's name. "I apologize. I shouldn't have assumed," the front desk clerk said while handing Caleb his room keys. "Nonsense. It's not your fault," he said, taking the keys from her. "And what is your name?" he asked. "Megan," she answered. "Megan," he repeated. "Well, I hope to see you around." "Oh, I'm always here till early morning. If you have any problems with your key, just bring them back down here." "I will be happy to assist you," she informed him, doing her best to keep things professional. She could tell he was flirting with her, and she found him to be like every other man that comes to Las Vegas for the weekend. "Have a nice night," he replied. "You too." "Oh, wait," she said, stopping Caleb as he began to turn away from her. "Do you have any luggage? Do you need help to take it up to your room? Can you help me?" he asked flirtatiously. "No, but William can," she said, signaling for a bellhop. Caleb gave her a warm smile before walking away with the bellhop. He couldn't help but feel a powerful connection between them. Caleb hoped that she felt it too. On his way to his room, Simone, who was now catless, found him as he and the bellhop waited by the elevator. "Where is Mittens?" he questioned. "Gone. I can't find her anywhere, and this is all your fault," Simone snapped. "I told you to leave her home," he complained, stepping into the elevator. The silence was all that was heard until they made it to their suite, and then the annoying sounds of gasps and shrills filled the air as Simone roamed the room, admiring all the luxury that the room offered. "We should go out tonight," Do something fun, she suggested. Fun? Like what? He questioned with no enthusiasm. His mind was on Megan. He was in no mood to deal with Simone and her dramatics. Let's go to the club. She grabbed his arm, pulling him towards her. She felt his distance even more now. She had always felt it. She knew that he was not in love with her. By his actions, he barely considered her girlfriend. However, she had no other choice but to take what she could get from him. She wasn't with him just because he was handsome and earned a good income. There was an important reason behind her being in his life, and it was paying her very well. How about this? He began stepping away from her. I am going to take a long hot shower. You can go out to the club. Whatever, and I can get some much needed rest, he said, moving towards the bathroom. I will make it up to you tomorrow, Caleb ended, turning on the shower. Can I join you? She asked, stepping into the grand bathroom. Simone, sweetie, I just really want to be alone right now. I had a hard day at the office. I didn't know about this trip earlier, or I would have stayed home today so that I would have been up to party tonight. Whatever. She stomped off, slamming the bathroom door behind her. Caleb shrugged his shoulders and stepped into the 5-head shower stall. Thoughts of Megan entered his mind again. He knew that this was not normal, and he needed to understand why he was developing feelings for a woman he had just met. He made the decision to sneak down later that night and see her again.